Hi, this is AIMathsBuddy.com. Here we don't give solutions. What we do is we try to understand what happens when a good student is not able to solve a problem. How is it so that toppers are able to solve problems while others cannot? How do they think? That is what we try to do. So let's try with an example. Let's take class 11th. We'll take chapter quadratic equation and we take IIT mains question. So let's first try to understand this question and you can take a pause and try to solve it on your own. So what this question is saying is that there is a quadratic equation and alpha is not one of its roots. Alpha is equal to 1 is not its roots. Then among the two statements, which of the following is correct? That whether B cannot be geometric mean of A and C and whether B and if B is the geometric mean of A and C, what will be there? So you try to do it on your own and then I'll tell you if you're not able to do it, then let's see how toppers will do it. So say there is a topper and he is not able to solve it and he does it and he picks a random option which is incorrect and then he'll start thinking what has gone wrong. So there are five helping questions that this site gives. So the idea is that this question of mains have many concepts. So there is a concept of geometric mean, arithmetic mean, and then quadratic equation. So if you are aware of all these, only then you can solve it. So what happens is that the first helping question is find the sum of coefficients of A, B, and C. So this is a long quadratic equation. What as a topper I do is I put this as capital A, this as capital B, and this as capital C. And since there are repetition of A, B, and 2C, I'll try to add them up. So what I'll get after A plus B plus C is 0. That is what he's asking. That means that if A plus B plus C is equal to 0, that means X is equal to 1 is one of its roots. So that is one of the question that founder will try to think, that topper will try to think. And in case he's not able to do it, then he'll say, like, it seems I have bad practice of quadratic equation. I need to do some more practice on quadratic equations. But suppose he is able to do it. So find the sum of the coefficients of A plus B plus C. So the answer is 0. Now the next helping question is, now we know that this equation ax square plus bx plus c has its roots 1 because x is equal to 1 is one of the roots and alpha is not 1. So we know that the product of the roots is capital C by capital A. Now C by A here will be C plus A minus 2B upon A plus B minus 2C. Now again, what we are testing here is whether you know that the product of roots is C by A. Most of you will be knowing it. But then applying this in this question is what is important. So in case you don't know, then you need to know the formula. And in case you know, then it means you have not practiced a bit more on this application. Like you need to practice more on how to apply product of the roots in the quadratic equation. So here C plus A minus 2B upon A plus B minus 2C will be the answer. So this will be the answer. Now the next helping question is determine the sign of the numerator and the denominator in the expression. Now he is saying A is greater than B is greater than C is greater than 0. Now now you again pause and try to think. So why this is important? Because he's giving these things like if alpha is minus 1 to 0, alpha is equal to alpha is epsilon 0 to 1. So we have to think on those lines. Now we know that A is greater than B. That means A minus C is greater than 0 and B minus C is greater than 0. Accordingly, we can understand that C minus B will be less than 0 and A minus. So you can think of on those lines. So suppose you are not able to understand it and you take any of the options. So let's take this one and it gets right. And in case you are not able to do it, it will give you a, it will ask if you want to understand that concept, you can click on that and you can go deeper into that. But let's say we have understood that. Now, if B is the geometric mean of A and C, then B square is equal to AC. That is what we know, because here is saying if B is the geometric mean of AC, then we'll put B square is equal to AC. What is the resultant value of alpha? So we know that we have calculated alpha in the previous question, right? So we'll put B square is equal to AC out there. How we'll say, okay, B is equal to square root of AC. And then we'll put it and then we'll try to calculate it. Suppose you're not able to calculate it, you mark one some option, -1. You are not able to understand it, you click on just give me the answer. It will show you the calculation. He has put C is equal to B square by A, and then he has shown the calculation. Now, the difference between someone who has done this question who is not is that he will evaluate that, okay, I'm not able to apply this C is equal to B square by A, right? Or I'm making some silly mistake out here. And then this is the final question. Analyze the range of alpha. If alpha is epsilon -1 to 0, does B square is equal to AC hold? If alpha is equal to epsilon 0 comma 1, can B square is equal to AC hold? Now you can think about this. This is very tricky. So suppose you don't understand this. You click on this. You can again go deeper into this part that I've not understood this part, and you can click on understand the concept. Now it will generate 5 helping questions for that part. Right? Helping step 1, helping step 2, helping step 3, 4, 5. So the whole idea of doing questions through this website is that you will understand which part of your problem is weak and where you should practice more. And if you go into the understand the concept of these things, then you will never forget it. The problem with most of the students is that they just see the solution. And when you see the solution, you never understand it, and it will never get into your mind permanently. But if you solve it through helping questions, it will get into your mind permanent. So that's all it for today. We'll keep coming with new questions, and we keep trying to understand how we should think when we are not able to solve a problem. That is more important than simply solving a lot of questions.